For USCFootball.com, I'm Keely Orr here with Dan Weber for instant analysis of USC's Monday practice of Washington State week. And today was normally a Tuesday practice, but on a Monday because USC is playing on Friday. And we told you on Saturday, don't expect any changes for practice, but we did see some minor tweaks that are worth mentioning. First, USC's coaches did bring a little bit more fire. They definitely yelled more than what we're used to seeing. And then we did see a shorter special teams practice than or periods than we are normally used to. So we did see some tweaks today in practice.
Although we did see more actual punts. Yeah. So we saw a bunch of punts. We saw 6 live, full team punts for both Chris Tilby and Reed Budovich. So we even charted all the punts. So this was kind of different in terms of yardage. We also saw afterwards we heard from Cedric Ware, who kind of got things going over the weekend with talking about how practice was, where he said that was really good to have Coach Helton on our butts. He said we need that. This is a team that we will react to that, respond to that. We will play kind of the way Coach gets on us. So he thought that was a very good thing. I mean, Clay's toughest, meanest, nastiest day would probably not be Nick Saban's happiest, sweetest day, but it was noticeable. The other thing that was noticeable, and you are caught in this situation, as Clay said, normally a team coming off 2 road games does not have a short week. Yep. As we say, thank you, Pac-12. So they come out, and this is a heavy run day, and it's a Tuesday in effect, but they don't go in full pads. So that, whether I thought they practiced hard. I think there are some things you can't quite do in not in full pads. But this is that's one of the harder calls, I would think, this week, as to how do you handle late game Saturday, very late getting back to the campus on Sunday, and short week Monday to Friday. There's no probably right answer. The fact that they've been a little hesitant in going full pads and really going physical in full pads makes it a little more maybe critical to get the right answer. But yeah. I'm not sure there is a right answer, but that's what they did today. Yeah.
Keeping along the lines of practice, I talked to Tyler Vaughns after practice today, and he said that going to the plane after the game in the bus ride, players actually kind of grouped together and were trying to figure out where the team went wrong. And he said it kind of stemmed back from practice. And then on Sunday, USC actually had a team meeting involving coaches and players, and it was basically established that the team needs to communicate more as a whole. They need to pay attention more to detail. So just really getting on themselves of how they practice, because Tyler Vaughn said that it seemed like they do things right in games, but they don't do it necessarily well in practice. Now, with what Cedric Ware said, with what Tyler Vaughn said, doesn't it beg the question, shouldn't that have already been established probably a couple weeks earlier?
Like 4 weeks ago, maybe? Yeah. I mean, I just think it got away from them. I just don't think I think, we can stand along the side and say, this isn't going the way. I mean, we like mock game week, but again, that was 4 weeks ago, and that was 2 really competitive, and not so much, guys being taken to the ground and, all that kind of thing, but it was very competitive and very physical in terms of full speed, competitive, one play after another, offense, getting on the defense. It was a time when positions were still being determined and guys were really, really battling. The next week, we saw only one where it looked like a real competitive, the first game week. And then second and third game weeks, we just haven't seen much life. It's the time that Cedric was talking about, thinking we've had, as he said, we've had lazy practices the last 2 weeks. You wouldn't call today a lazy practice, okay? Today was, I thought the 7-on-7 passing, the 1-on-1 passing, all those kinds of things, they competed pretty well. So we shall see. They didn't hit, but other than a couple of hits that ended up with a kind of a swinging one-on-one between one of the starting offensive linemen and one of the freshman defensive linemen playing on the scout team who was playing really hard. So that was probably not all that bad to see.
Yeah, chippiness sometimes in that case is a good thing. But as far as Washington State goes, Helton said that they have a tough defensive front and usually have an extra player in the box. And Helton kind of mentioned last week that Texas will be challenging for USC's offensive line. That's what we saw. If Helton is saying it again this week with Washington State, should that be concerning that they got to pick up the pieces quick as far as offensive line goes?
Yeah, because basically Washington State does the same thing that Texas did with all the changing zone pressures and changing their look, and not necessarily being a team that you can scout, and that a team that kind of makes it up as they go, plays real hard. Again, as Coach Callaway said, they're not real big, but they figure out ways to kind of screw you up, and if you go up, go at them like USC did last year, very confused and had a couple of starters out, you can end up getting really stymied in the run game. Now, they haven't played, a great schedule, but they're only giving up, 236 yards a game, 98 or 99 yards on the ground. So they haven't been, playing people that can really hurt them. But it's going to be an interesting game, with them coming in not much of an underdog at all. When you think, gosh, Washington State, after losing some of the guys they lost last year, and picked to, have they got votes in the AP poll. As people, you haven't paid attention. In this week's AP poll, 8 Pac-12 teams got points. 8 Pac-12 teams were rated somewhere, earned some votes. USC did not.
Yeah.
So USC right now, according to the AP poll, is no better than 9th in the Pac-12. So one would think that would motivate USC this week.
Yeah.
One would think.
One would think, indeed. As far as injuries go, we did get a major update. Isaiah Polamau is getting shoulder surgery on Thursday and will be out for the season. So that's a major loss there for USC's DB core.
And major shoulder surgery. They know they need to really stabilize that shoulder. So this isn't going to be one of those, where quick fixes or anything like that. He needs to, after, a fairly early, serious injury, both years costing him, the season, they've got to figure out a way to, stabilize that shoulder.
Yeah. This is a short week, as we mentioned. Do you think USC will have the skill and the ability to turn it around? I know Helton said that the coaching staff does not like being 1-2, and they're trying to remedy that issue. Where do you see this team going on Friday?
I think it'll be a great deal up to the offensive line. If they come out with a little bounce in their steps, a little communication, a little chip on their shoulder. If they come out with a man on, as Clay said, and I got the feeling we got more out of Coach Callaway than we have all year almost after practice.
Yeah.
And I got the feeling he is feeling better about their willingness to do what it takes. And he also said, or he apologized to you for his language, but he said, it talked about, it looked like they had a little bit of bounce in their step, a little bit. And he said, when you get your ass kicked, that's how you got to come back. And said, do you think you fixed it? You're on the right. And he said, I hope so.
Yeah, that's the most we got from Callaway all year, so at least maybe that is an encouraging sign. One last thing, the kickers. Chase McGrath was out there with the knee brace and crutches, so that's a sad thing for him. He is out for the year. What did you see from USC's kickers to replace him?
Well, I like the idea, just that Chase was out there. He got out there, on 2 crutches and kind of dragging that right leg, but the fact that he stayed out there the whole time the special teams guys were out there, I think that's a pretty good. I give Chase all the credit in the world. You don't have to be out there, and you don't have to be standing holding yourself up on crutches. So good show by him. I think Michael Brown, who had really given good competition in camp, I think he was a little rusty. He did hit one out to 45 yards. They're using walk-on kickoff guy Alex Stadhouse is the second field goal kicker. So he's got pretty good range, not a lot of direction. He's changing. He's got to you got to get your steps down. You don't have the same ability to take those long strides that you do on kickoffs and that. But he's got a powerful leg. But I think Michael's just got to get a lot of work done this week. It's that simple, and get a little consistency. But I thought he did really well in preseason, so I think we'll see how the rest of this week goes.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's going to wrap it up for a quick turnaround on Monday practice for USC. For Dan Weber, I'm Keely Orr. For more, check out uscfootball.com.